You're watching Much Music, and our guest today would be Darren of Savage Garden. Their sophomore disc, Affirmation, released in Canada this week and debuted at #1 in Canada. So with Darren... And I gotta say, Darren, you got the most loving fans. They're really, really good people.
We seriously said this just out the back. My assistant Leonie was saying to me, your fans are so nice. I think we have the nicest fans in the world.
Yeah.
They're just really good people. Good people.
Cool.
Yeah.
The album, Affirmation, you recorded in
San Francisco.
Oh, in San Francisco.
Yeah. It was a long story. I was living in New York for about a year, so a lot of it was written when I was living in New York, and then we recorded it in San Francisco. So.
Your life in New York City. What made you want to move there?
You know, I have no idea. Probably inspiration, because I don't live there anymore. It's funny, I wanted this to be an album that was really personal, and it's deeply personal. It's completely autobiographical, and it's an album about relationships and I guess what was happening in my life at the time. And there's no better place than New York City, I think, to sort of be alone and to face stuff, because it's tough. It's an exciting city. It's amazing, but it can be tough. You know, and I wanted it to be a record about real things as opposed to celebrity or fame or fortune or whatever. I wanted it to be a record about everyday life. So.
When I met you last time in New York City at Wyclef's big shindig,
I remember that.
You just had a real glow on you.
Yeah.
It was like you weren't like particularly preened for the night. You're just like out there, out on the town.
Yeah.
But you looked really happy.
Yeah.
And you were telling me that you just like, this is a good point in your life.
Well, I just feel really good about myself. I think, I think that confidence or being attractive is something that comes from within, and I think that my self-esteem is at a really good place, and that I'm happy, and I think that when you're happy in your life, it comes through. I don't really care too much about, you always want to be thinner or have better abs or have this or that. Short hair wants long hair, black hair wants blonde hair, whatever. So I just feel good about myself. It's not really about image. I mean, I laugh at this front cover. There's so much airbrushing going on there.
Is there?
Oh my God. I mean, it's ridiculous. To the point that when we did this photo shoot, we did it with an amazing photographer called Stefan Sedenwe, who I'm a big fan of.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
He's incredible. Does a lot of music videos and whatever, and he's going through this thing at the moment where everything is very surreal. And when he first showed us the album cover, I had no pores on my skin. I'm like, Stefan, I had stubble when you took the picture, and now, so we had to back off a little bit. But I talk to kids a lot about that the myth of celebrity and the myth of an image. It's fun, but that's me turned up to 10. I mean, this is what I look like when I get out of bed, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a striking cover in that it's kind of without irony too. It's just the both of you standing there looking your best.
I guess so. It's pretty... No, you know what it was? I had a meeting with Stefan in New York, and he listened to the record, and he said it's really intense, and it is a really intense record. It's a pop record, but it's very personal, and he said he wanted it to look like the two of us had been in a room all week with our emotions, and it's just sort of coming out, and that's pretty much what it is. We're not really a band about image yet. We're not a band about changing the face of music or the sound of music, so I'm just looking at myself. I don't quite recognise myself, actually. I don't know. It's not really about what do I look like in a pair of Levi's, or have I got those dance moves down pat. It's pretty honest, pretty sincere. When
you were saying about New York City, being able to kind of like, is it because it's so busy there that you can just like kind of hide and like address yourself? For me, I think it was that in Australia, I'm considered to be a bit of a celebrity, and in the rest of the world, I'm one of many people that make music. And in New York City, I lived on a street where Robert De Niro lived, and Mariah Carey and Madonna. I had a celebrity rating of about this much, and I really needed that. It helped me feel anonymous, and I had a life where I would do everyday stuff, do my own washing, and go to the grocery store and pay the bills. And if you didn't pay the bills, they got cut off. And I think that I was in danger of becoming a bit of a caricature of myself, actually. And I didn't, I don't want this career to affect my life. I want to, at the end of this run, I'm still a person, and I want to be able to walk down the street and have someone say, you were a good person, as opposed to, wow.
Or you were a celebrity, or whatever.
Did you feel like you were sort of on that precipice of like buying into all the hype and all that kind of ego gratification of what it is to be a superstar? Well,
you know what it is? I guess I'm scared to want it, because it's enticing and it's very addictive.
Australians too, they tend to be like down to earth people, similar to Canadians in that regard.
Yeah, very much. We were talking about this again in the car. I think that Canadians and Australians have a very similar temperament, and we have a very similar view on the world, you know. I think other countries whose names we won't mention are a little bit more blindfolded and a little bit more arrogant about the rest of the world. It's ignorant and it's a little arrogant. And I think that Canadians and Australians really understand that we're one of many, you know. We're constantly being discarded by the cool epicenters of the world, and so we really have to fight for ourselves. Australians wouldn't let me act like a superstar, a prat. They would just knock me down, and I think that's helped me become, you know, the person that I am. I'm not saying I don't love it. I love performing, and I love being a celebrity, and I love the whole thing, but it's not real, and I have fun with it, and I just sort of say, tonight I'm going to put on my superstar outfit, and I'm going to be a star when I'm on stage, because you just paid $20, and I'm going to give you everything I've got. But, you know, afterwards I'm going to go home, I'm going to take a bath, and I'm going to take my shoes off and clip my smelly toenails.
Exactly.
And I'm just like everyone else.
Yeah.
And if it ends tomorrow, I'm just like everyone else, you know. I could have to work at Starbucks. You know, so...
The album Affirmation starts off with the track Affirmation, which is a declaration of so many things that you believe in. And I wanted to address some of those things. You say, I believe that beauty magazines promote low self-esteem. Now, what does that mean to you?
It actually came from a piece of graffiti I saw in Manhattan. Someone had written something very similar on the ground with tape, actually. They'd used a gaffer tape and they'd written this sentence. And it made sense to me, and I realised that, just like I am, the fact that if I didn't tell you that that was airbrushed, you know, I have a friend who's a dermatologist that said to me, people come into my office with record covers and they want to look like you people. And I don't look like him. Do you know what I mean? And I think that beauty magazines and the myth of fashion and things like that, you know, we're constantly promoting to the people that buy records that this is what you can look like. You know, I get clothing for free largely. I don't even pay for it. Sometimes I have to give it back, but I'm wearing it and I can afford to buy it, and yet some of our fans feel like they have to go out and buy this stuff, you know. And I'm somebody who can afford to pay for it and I don't have to, and I'm wearing it and I'm advertising it to you, you know. And I think that I guess by talking about it, I want to sort of make young people aware that it's, you know, not everybody looks like a Gap model or a Calvin Klein model, or, you know, I mean, it takes a lot of effort for me to look this exhausted. You know what I mean? It really does. I mean, it takes a lot of effort. I work out and I eat the right foods and whatever, and I still look normal. Right. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a myth, and I just talk about it.
Yeah. So within your role as what you're doing, it's really important for you to go, hey, you know, this is a bit of a...
And not even just about image. There's a song on this record called Crash and Burn, and it's talking about the fact that, look, when I was in New York, I was pretty down. There were moments in my life where I was really down, and I missed my family, and I was going through some personal stuff, and, you know, I was turning on the TV every day, and I'd see gun shootings in schools and stuff, and I realised, you know, young people really don't have legitimate tools and legitimate ways to deal with these very legitimate feelings. Everybody feels down, everybody hits the wall, everybody gets angry, but not everybody picks up a gun. I don't. I write songs or I have a conversation, and I think that that's part of the bigger social awareness that I feel as a celebrity. I'm not a politician. At the end of the day, I'm a clown, and I have fun, and I get paid to do what I do for free every day in the shower, which is not what you're thinking. It's singing. You know, I've been doing that all my life, and now
what, in the shower?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to take a look at I Knew I Loved You. And what's the song about?
It's about destiny, and it's funny. It's taken me a long time to work out what it's about, but I remember seeing an interview with the artist years ago. You might call him Prince, but I want to meet him one day, so I'm calling him the artist. And he talked about his wife, Maite, and he said that when he was 20, he was so lonely that he used to pray to God every day to meet her, and 20 years later, she walked into his life, and he really believed that he willed her or dreamed her into being.
Do you think people actually can do that? Will somebody into their lives?
Yeah.
Or do they have to be open to the experience?
I think that you have to be complete within yourself. You have to be happy, and you have to really love yourself, and then you attract the right kinds of people to you. Yeah, that's what I think.
Cool. We're going to be talking with Darren after the break and opening the floor to the fans. Cool. So we'll be back in just a bit. Darren of Savage Garden. He's here to talk about his new album, Affirmation. And right now we're going to open the floor to Cassandra. You have a question for Darren?
Yeah. Darren, all your songs are based on personal experiences. So I wondered if you ever felt awkward that, like, a million people are going to have such a personal part of you. And do you ever feel weird around fans when you meet them because they know this personal part of you, and you've never seen them or met them. You don't even know anything about them.
You know what it is? I think it comes naturally to me anyway, because I just said off camera, I'm just a big show-off. Let's face it. And also, my favourite artists always did that, you know. I'm a terrible liar, so if I think of someone like Bruce Springsteen, or I think of Alanis Morissette, or U2, even, you know, I think they're bands that always just write from personal experience, so that's kind of what I do. I have to make music and then go out and pretty much perform it for 2 years at a time. We just said before, like our last tour was 8 months, so I have to sing these songs every night, so I want to draw from a place that is real, you know, because I have to relate to it every night. So I feel pretty cool. And what you don't realise is that once I've vented, once I've written a song, I've actually dealt with that and I've moved on with my life. So it's kind of beautiful. It's a sense of closure. Thank you. I appreciate that. So cool. It's pretty cool.
Alina, you also have a question for me.
I was wondering whether you prefer this very public lifestyle as opposed to, you know, living your typical suburban lifestyle you were leading prior to your success.
You know, it's in my skin now, so it's hard to tell. I think I prefer it more than, say, Daniel does. But a lot of that is sort of by default with me. You know, I think that the two of us as a band, you know, we're presented as the two of us, and as soon as the shutter is released when we take a picture, he takes a step backward, and people assume that means that I am somebody that is absolutely obsessed with fame and fortune. Not really. I don't actually want to be any more famous than I am right now. It's pretty cool. Generally, if you didn't know I was on the television, I'd probably walk around all day and no one would really notice me. And that's pretty cool. you probably wouldn't, because I do it all the time and you just don't know it. You know?
They'd be, hey, see that guy over there? Check him out. And Fan, you also have a question.
Okay, so a lot of the fans inside and outside really want to see your naked feet, so...
My feet. I can't believe I'm doing this. But this is my foot. I can't believe they're hairy.
Very nice.
Right? I have hairy feet, and you know, I wear very average socks, and anyway.
Nicely cut toenails.
Actually, they're not. They're called hand pits. I don't even know what this one looks like. Man, that's pretty disgusting. But anyway, that's my feet.
Why do you want to see his feet for?
I don't know. Alright, well that was for Diane.
No, because you.
Oh man, I'm not gonna take my shorts off now.
Now we'd like to examine the back of your ear.
That's funny.
But you were telling us beforehand, because you knew she was going to ask that you have a weird feeling about feet.
I don't really like feet. I just think it's hilarious. Before I got into this job, no one ever stopped me on the street and said, hey, you're pretty cute. You know what I mean? So I guess I don't really...
You don't see yourself as a cute guy?
No, I see myself as an average person, and I see myself as a beautiful person because I really love myself.
Yeah.
I really feel good about myself. But it's got nothing to do with this, because honestly, before I got into this job, people didn't stop me on the street and say, you're wonderful, because I didn't feel great about myself. And for the first album, I never really felt great about myself. It's been an amazing mirror. This career to me has taught me a lot about myself as a person, because it's thrown it all back at me, and it gives you an image of yourself in terms of, is this who I am? And that's not who I am, right. Actually. The person you're speaking to is who I am.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do you think the key was? Because, like, loving yourself is the key to so many things in terms of finding love with another person and feeling good about yourself.
For me, I think it was having everything and then suddenly feeling like you didn't. You know, I was in a situation where I'd sold 11 million albums, I was a millionaire, and I was suddenly single. Suddenly I was alone, and it's like, well, it's like God or karma or whatever says to you, you know, I'm going to give you everything, but then now I'm going to take away something. And it's how you deal with that, I think. And I think life will always throw you stumbling blocks and will always put difficult situations in front of you. And the test is, the way to grow as an individual, I think, is how you deal with those experiences. So, yeah, we've had some deaths surrounding us. Yes, we've had some marriage breakups and some horrible things occur, but out of the destruction came all this beautiful peace and acceptance and whatever, and that's, to me, why I feel good about myself.
Cool. A lot of the songs are about love songs. So how's your love life these days? I think the people would like to know. We have 30 seconds.
It's pretty good. You know, and I think I have a theory about love, which is that, you know, as soon as you feel good about yourself, then you bring the right people in.